Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Radically Real. I am so excited today to have James Ferrier here with me. He has an incredible story. James is a wellness facilitator. I always fuck that up because, like, my brain's shot from being a mom and
You're good.
being old.
Mom brain.
Yeah, mom brain, all kinds of different brains, business brain, boss babe, burnout brain, all the brains. James has an incredible story. I found you on social media, and I had been following you for a while before I asked you to come onto the podcast. This is a really good story, and I hope a lot of people listen to this. You've got a book coming out about your life, the things that you've done. James, tell everybody who you are and what you're up to.
Thank you for the stage. Appreciate you.
No problem.
This is awesome. Thank you, CC. It's been really fun getting to know you. And
I had the best conversation. You guys know I always do this. The best conversation, and then I'm like, we gotta hit record. This is not good. We gotta stop talking.
I thought we were halfway done the podcast.
Nope.
And we're like, okay, we should hit record. It's so fun. That's right. We're here now. We're locked and loaded. But yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Of course.
Yeah, so my name is James, and I wrote a book called Paradise State of Mind. And how that came to fruition is just like a lot of bad choices and rebuilding from those choices, and a lot of accountability and a lot of humbling. So I guess a little bit of background about myself. I grew up in Guelph, Montreal. I finished high school. I moved out west for school. It was like partly for school, but it was mainly for snowboarding.
Yeah, the life. That's that life out there.
The lifestyle. Basically, skipping psychology to go ride 3 feet of powder. Like, what are you gonna do, right?
Totally typical Canadian.
Yeah, and that that was kind of like that first moment of like, okay, like I'm 18. I took a one-way flight to somewhere that felt, like that was calling me, and like I kind of got addicted to that.
Yeah.
And I ended up surfing for the first time on a trip to Hawaii, and that literally was just like this huge. It created this ripple effect where I was like, I love this, and I basically traveled for 6 years. I lived in Australia for 2.5 years. I lived in New Zealand for a year. Like surfing, living out of a van.
You got the bug.
Got the bug big time. And then after 6 years, I was like, I got to go see mom. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So I come home. I come back to Toronto area, and in my head it was a pit stop, and then I was going to keep going I was going to go to Europe. I had a surf instructing job lined up there, and then opportunities happened, and I ended up opening up a business. I did the juice bar we were talking about a little bit prior to recording, and things were going good. Like, I was like fulfilling my dreams of traveling, and like I did it. I became the surfer, you know what I mean? And then I always wanted to open up my own business, and then I opened up the juice bar, and I was like, okay,
look at me go.
I'm literally crushing every goal that I like set out for myself, and that was a really good feeling. And then, as you know, COVID.
Yeah. No, we talked about this. All good businesses got shut down, mine included. I was paying $4,000 of rent a month.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
well, it was
downtown
close.
Queen and Spadina, Toronto. Like, you're it's not cheap.
Yeah, same. Well, we were in Innisfil, but same thing. Like, I
love Innisfil.
It's so expensive. Like, the rent there is ridiculous. I ended up having to move my business, excuse me, because the rent, it was insane. I was paying $4,000 a month while we were closed.
Yeah, it's just not realistic. And it was like, I just passed my 1 year anniversary of being open, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. And I'm glad I pulled out when I did, because I was able to get like a pretty good price for all my equipment. Whereas like 2 weeks later, everyone else flooded in. I think intuitively something told me like, get out now.
Yeah, because you knew.
Yeah. And then like everybody else, we're I love your coffee mug, fresh out of the box. That's great.
I got it at this home decor store in Stroud, up by Innisfil.
Yeah, you should do like a custom one, but like CC podcast, like fresh out of the box.
Yeah, fresh out of the box. That could be the name of it. I do. I have a video that I use. It's just me like cheersing the screen, and I put usually really funny things on the screen that people either really love or really hate, and either way, I don't care.
And therefore, it got to be you.
I did one the other day, and it said I used the transgender bathroom, and the other day, I can't remember exactly what I said. I used a transgender bathroom the other day, and I took a she-it.
Never heard that before. That's hilarious.
It was really funny. Some people really didn't like it, but 100,000 other people really liked it, so it's fine.
I mean, if you get triggered by stuff like that, like, I don't know.
Fucking relax. Fucking relax.
We're all just out here trying to have a good time, man. Anyways, circling back, sitting at home, just shut down the business. It's COVID. And an opportunity presented itself to make a lot of money very quickly with kind of like this. if you look at a pie chart of my friends, like everyone's awesome, really, really good. I had this like 1% sliver that were like, they're, they're
The
on the
bad
dark side.
seed. The bad seed.
Yeah. And like, I could have made a million other better decisions, but I made a choice to make myself available for, the work, the style of work that they were doing.
Okay.
And so I got brought on and I started off like pretty easygoing. I was like moving money here and there, and then money turned into product. And then like before I knew it, I was like way in over my head, like moving large amounts of like drugs
Yeah.
on a daily basis,
Yeah.
basically. And
Throughout Toronto, like in the city?
yeah, pretty much all
GTA?
like GTA.
Yeah.
And like in my head, it was just kind of like, okay, I come from a single mom. I come from poverty. This is like this was really enticing. You know what I mean? Like how like I had the Land Rover. I had a wicked portfolio. I was looking at buying like land in Costa Rica so I could like continue to carry out my surfing dreams. And it was getting to that point where I was like, okay, like I've been in this long enough.
I have
Eh,
enough money.
I got to get out of here. Like this isn't me. This isn't who I am. And didn't get out quick enough. And God had a plan to humble me and hold me accountable to those decisions. And so, July 2021, I got arrested. I was on bail for 2 years trying to
What
beat
day
my
did you get
case.
arrested in July 2021?
Sorry, say again.
What day did you get arrested?
July 21st, 2021. It was a Wednesday.
I had my son on July 20th,
Wow.
2021. Yeah.
Wow. It was
Then you got arrested the next
a
day.
big moment.
Yeah,
Big
I was at
moment.
home dying because I had a C-section.
That I was on a concrete slab crying.
What did I do? And I was at home crying because my hormones are all over the place. I was like, "Oh, this
Yeah, you
fucking baby."
literally just made a human being.
Yeah. Well, we were both crying. We were both crying. I was crying with you, but not for the same
Yeah.
reasons.
That's funny. Yeah, that's a big week for us.
Yeah, it was. It was. We're so aligned. Oh my God.
Wow, look at us go,
Look at
absolutely
us go.
smashing it. And
It's not
so,
funny. It's not funny. So you
yeah,
get arrested on July 21st, 2021
yeah. So
for
I was on bail for 2 years, trying to beat the case, unsuccessful. 2023, June 9th, I got sentenced to 8 years, um, which is a heavy number. And like again, I was 27 when this started. Like I'm not a kid, but like
we just talked about this. It's like you're not a
we're
kid when
figuring
you're
it out.
27, but like your frontal lobe is developed at 25. So like I just feel like it's such a young age still. You're still so naive and like you're going to see this even now because you're 32 now.
Yeah, I'm turning 32 next week.
So you change so much from 30 to 40. Like it's insane.
Yeah,
The amount of change that you are about to go through in your life just from someone who's older and wiser.
yeah. No, that's why we have these conversations. We pick each other's brains and we learn, right?
Legit though, right? Like you're going to change so much. So like at 27, you're still such a baby.
Hmm. I look at that version of myself now, and I'm like, you poor dumb little kid.
You're going to look at the version of you now at when you're 40 and be like, holy fuck, like I can't believe how much I've learned just from
Yeah.
that, especially with everything that you're doing now. So did the people that you were like doing this with, did they go down too?
Yeah. So it was called Project Icarus, and like they made 14 arrests that day. The moment that happened, like I was just like, I'm out. I don't need to talk to anybody from that world ever again. Like I'm good. My lessons learned. That was the last time I've ever seen or talked to any of those people. Was just like walking by and like seeing them in the holding cell, being like, yeah,
Like here we are.
I'm out. See ya.
And
Probably,
they
yeah.
so here's the thing I'm wondering is if they were already in it and then brought you into it, like maybe they were already being watched.
Yeah. It's a breadcrumb trail, right? Apparently, it was like an anonymous tip about one guy, and they followed him, who led them to one of our guys, and then I was seen, with like literally like duffel bags, you know what I mean, in a parking lot, shady areas, like
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to be nonchalant, like yeah,
You're cool.
it's just not a good look, man, not a
Oh,
good
well,
look.
I mean, sometimes those moments like not are fine. I have moments in my life where I'm like, "Ooh, I didn't get arrested, but um, you know, our moments that aren't our finest always bring us the biggest blessings. And I fully believe that no matter how hard it is and how much it wrecks you, something comes out of it.
Yeah, like I was like circling back to that quote that I mentioned earlier before we started recording of like turbulent times provide fertile ground for
Yeah.
radical change. And like that
Yeah.
was turbulent times. And it was like I had a lot of choices, right? And we all do.
Yeah.
every day we wake up, we have that choice, right?
Yeah, you
And it
get to
was like, okay,
choose.
I was like, how do I want to respond to this?
Mhm.
And what do I want to build from this wreckage? Because it was a big wreckage. Literally everything had been stripped away.
Mhm.
This whole like identity of like me being this traveling surfer or like this young entrepreneur, hotshot in the city, whatever like titles or masks I was putting on, like that's all taken off. And eventually, I'm nothing but a number in an orange jumpsuit sitting in a cell. You're not special. And like you want to start asking questions about who you really are. Like, you don't have your phone to distract you. You're not like going out and drinking and partying with your friends. Like you're not doing any of that. Like you're sitting in stillness and like
In your
again,
head.
like it's a choice. Like some people, they still find a way to like run from it.
Well,
That's not
because
what
even in
I.
prison, like, they still try and do illegal things, like, some
Yeah, I mean,
people.
it's crazy. Like you could party every night there if you wanted to. Like it's a very like corrupted system. Like everything
Mhm.
is in there. Like I could be on a cell phone smoking weed,
Yeah.
having a drink every night if I wanted to. Like I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but again, like that's not the route that I wanted to go. And like I wanted that fresh slate,
Yeah.
and it gave me the opportunity to do that. And obviously, it's like it's a negative experience, but I think I can already feel this, even though I'm like somewhat fresh out as time goes by. Like I do believe it's like one of those things you'll look back and be like, that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of like humbling, teaching, grounding
Mhm.
me with who I am now, and like almost feel like that happening like saved me from a more severe fate. Almost just like I'm just like thank you for bringing me to back down to earth because I was getting I was getting a little lost.
Were you using drugs?
No,
So you're
no,
just
like I've never been
you're
a
the
drug
good
user.
kinda dealer, and, like, you don't use your product, you just push
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. No, I was just wanting to make my money. You know what I mean? Greed is like a terrible thing, and like I've had $50 in my pocket, living in a van in Australia, on the beach with my
Living your best
surfboard,
fucking life.
happy as can be,
Yes.
so fulfilled.
Yeah.
Cup is full.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
then I think like your environment obviously breeds your mindset to a certain degree. And then coming back to Toronto and then yes, opening the business, losing the business. I think like if this scenario happened in Australia, like and I was like still in that Byron Bay kind of like boho mindset,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have like unraveled into this, but I'm like sitting in a city that I didn't really feel alignment with. And it's just like the ethos is kind of like hustle, get your bag,
Yep.
be the guy. And like I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna step into that. And like, did it feel cool driving Land Rover? Yeah, it's
Of
awesome
course,
driving a Land
yeah, I
Rover.
had 3. I had 3. I get
Yeah,
it. I had 2
so
Range Rovers and an LR4. Like,
amazing.
I
Yeah,
get it. Like, it does feel cool to have the nice things. I still have I have a Yukon XL and with the Denali trim, so it's not like I'm fucking out here slumming it now.
yeah,
But not to brag about my car, but it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
yeah. No, shout that out.
It just is what it is. Was making a lot of money, but people always say to me about my business, and this is obviously not the same as going to prison, but like people couldn't believe I was giving up my business because I made so much money and we were so successful. And I said, yeah, but like if that's the only thing that's making me happy, that is not worth it.
Hmm.
Like I would not trade the life that I have now, even though it's harder and like we have to live on a strict budget and it's not the same as it was. I would never, ever give this up to get that back. Ever.
Mm, yeah, yeah. It's it's cool when you get to see from both sides, right?
Yes.
And like, yeah. Sometimes it's not pretty getting there, but again, like those lessons are such a blessing,
Yeah.
and
People think the
wouldn't
money is
trade those for
everything, but it's
anything.
just not.
It's really not.
It's really not.
Again,
And the show's
happiest I've ever
over. Just
been.
kidding.
Yeah, thank
Yep,
you.
that's it. We're done. No.
Big
But it's
takeaway.
but it's so true, right? Like obviously we're different ends of the spectrum, but like it's so cool to have the money and it's so cool to have the nice things. Like I loved my Range Rover. I felt so great. It was one of my dream vehicles. Like,
Mm,
I was able to accomplish that. They're pieces of shit for anyone who wants to buy a Range Rover. Just don't. Get a GMC. I'm
yeah,
telling you it's way better. Uh they're so expensive to fix. Like anything breaks, it's a mortgage payment to fix it. Like
yeah, and like
it,
so expensive on gas too.
so expensive on gas. So it's the only thing that I will say about my Range Rover was so good in the snow. Oh my god, it was so good in the snow. I will say that because like I could go turn a corner sideways on purpose and it would straighten itself out. Like,
Yeah.
it was such a they were
You're trying to
so
go for
good.
the swerve, and it's like, "Nah, I got
It's
you."
like, "No, I'm just not gonna let you be cool." I'm like, "Fuck," I was, like, trying to, like, drift here a little bit in the snow, but
Yeah.
fine.
Trying to catch a
But
vibe, man.
it it feels cool to it feels awesome to have all of those things, but it's just not worth it. I mean, for me, like, having my business and all of those great things was, like, so awesome, but at the detriment of my kids, like, I don't get to see my kids, and
Mhm.
I wanna spend more time with my kids. I'm unfulfilled behind the chair now, like, I'm sick of having staff, like, on all of those things. The money just was not worth it anymore, and I can make like,
Mhm.
you and I can make money again. We know how to make money, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just like
Yeah.
you you find a way to just make it happen again in your life, and I think a lot of people get scared to change. It's like you said, you thought so many times, like, "I gotta stop doing this." It's like if you had
Mhm.
stopped doing it when you had the initial thought of you should stop doing it, then maybe you wouldn't have gone to prison.
I wouldn't have. I would have been out. I would have, gotten my little naughty suitcase, and like, my life would be so fundamentally different today. And, like, it's so easy to ask yourself those questions and be
What
like, "Oh,
if?
like, the what if, like, what if I never opened up my business in the first place, and I
Yeah.
took that surf instructing job in France and just never, and I kept living that surfing, traveling life." It's like, because, like, that for me, that was like that was aligning. Like, I felt like I was living my life's purpose. Like, obviously, I love surfing. That it was
Yeah,
just
which is
something
so so
that
cool.
was, like, the driving force of my life for, like, a long time. Like, we still got the
I
surfboards,
love it. Yeah, and you have, like,
and
is that a wakeboard behind you or some
no,
kind of,
so
like,
no, that's just it's a short board.
it's a shortboard. Okay, you got a skateboard there. I saw, yeah, some of your skateboarding videos. I was like one of those curb bitches when I was 15 or
Did you
14,
say
but
curb?
they called curb bitches. That's what we were called. We would sit on the curb and watch the boys skateboard.
Yeah, yeah, the cheerleading squad. I've never heard
Curb
that
bitches,
term before. That's
yeah, in the
so funny.
'90s, yeah, because you
Yeah,
were born in the '90s and I was a
yeah,
teenager in the '90s, and that's what you did,
yeah.
you sat there, and I was also, like, a '90s raver kid, so we would watch the boys skateboard and stuff like that, and then on the weekends, we would go down to Toronto, and we would go to Nathan Phillips Square and get on, like, a sketchy bus, and it would take you to, like, a dirty warehouse with there's DJs and stuff there, and that was,
Okay.
like, the underground, like, rave scene in Toronto when I was doing such bad things when I was 15 and 14. Oh my god, like, so
Rebellious
bad.
teenager.
I wasn't though. I was, like, an honor roll student, like, really good student, but, like,
Like to party.
we were just rave kids. That's what we did. Like, we were, like, I listened to jungle music and all my favorite jungle DJs in Toronto. Like, that's just what we did, and, like, we would take the GO bus from Bradford. We lived in Bradford, down to, Finch, and we
Yeah.
would take the subway all the way to Nathan Phillips Square, and then, yeah, get on that sketchy bus that picks you up and takes you to some random warehouse. There's, like, tarps for walls, and, like,
And,
there's
like,
a
you're a
house
15-year-old
room,
girl at the time, just, like, letting loose. That's
and, like,
incredible.
doing bad drugs, like,
Ugh.
it was so bad, but, like, that's what you did back in the ni it was the '90s. It's not the same as it was today.
Yeah.
I would
And, like,
never let my kids
your
do that
teenage brain
today.
is just like, we gotta feel this out."
It's like you had to call your mom from a, like, a payphone when you were, like,
Mm,
Queen and John. "Mom, pick me up at Queen
yeah.
and John. Come
Yeah,
get
or
me."
mom starts calling all the other parents, like, "Is James with you?" Be like, I don't even know where mine is."
Yeah, well, my mom always knew we went to the city all week. My parents were cool like that. I don't know why, like, why they let I would never let my kids do that. I have little kids. Like, I had kids later in life. Like, I still have, like, a 19-month-old.
Mm.
So, I look back at, like, what I was doing in the '90s, and I'm like, "Ooh."
Different world now, though.
It's a different world now, though.
Like, back then, like, it's okay, 'cause, like, I feel like there was a lot more trust in your community.
100% there was. It was all
Like,
about, it was plur, and it was peace, love, unity, and respect. That was the whole
mhm,
90s ravers kids were modern day hippies of that time.
yeah,
And we're talking like 30 freaking years ago. This is a long time ago. So it was just like that's what it was. Everybody respected each other and helped each other. And like it was just, you know, we were all doing MDMA and crystal meth. But those were like party drugs then. It was so bad. It was a weekend drug. It wasn't like,
yeah,
you were
you're
just,
still an honor roll student. You just like to
I was
loosen up on the weekend.
just did crystal meth. It was fine.
It was fascinating.
It's so bad. I know it's so bad. And I'm not endorsing the use of crystal meth. It's so bad. I would never do it now. But it wasn't the same. It's not the same as it is now. That was like That was like a rave drug. That's what it was. People are like, "I don't
Yeah.
know how people get so hooked on it." I'm like, I do." I was like, "You don't wanna
So
know what it's
funny.
like to dance on clouds for 17 hours?
Yeah.
That's what it's like." But
When I'm driving down, like, maybe like a rougher intersection, and I see them, and I'm like, what is going through your damn head right now?
I know, they're tweaking. Like, I never got to that point because, like I said, it was a weekend drug. But
You don't strike me as the kind of person that's like falling asleep on the sidewalk.
no, no. But and the
Yeah.
other thing too is like I did those things from like 14 to like 18 or 17 even. Like
Mhm.
you have your little raver period and then you stop. And then I think people that get into hard drugs when they're like older,
Yeah,
they
like,
fall harder.
yeah, because I think at that point, you're probably, like, really trying to escape from something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas, like, there's a difference between, like, being young and having, like, that exploration and, like, curiosity versus, like, "Okay, I'm fully developed. I'm, very much, I'm into my life, and, like, these are the choices I'm making." Like,
You made a
that's
conscious choice to well, it's like
yeah,
you
like,
made a conscious choice to like look at that money and go,
yeah, looks pretty enticing.
I'm gonna do this because that's a lot of money. But that's the thing about money is that like even when I had my business, it's just like, how can I hire more staff, get more clients, make more money, do all of the things until it just smacks you in the face and you're like, I don't care anymore. I just
Yeah,
don't care.
no, and it's like, yeah, maybe you gotta go through some stuff to get to that
Mhm.
point, but,
Mhm.
again, like, hard lessons are a blessing, so
They are and they teach you
wait.
so much. Like I left an abusive relationship in my 20s, and I
Mm,
always tell people, like, that was the hardest thing I ever went through and the hardest thing I ever did, but it was the best thing that I ever did, kind of like what you had just said before. And sometimes I have so people are like, "Oh, do you regret that time?" And I was like, "No," because for a couple of reasons. One, I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't gone through that part of my life. And that's kind of the same for you. Like, you've got so many blessings coming for you now because of that.
mhm,
And same thing, it's just like those dark times, they bring you the biggest blessings, and we talked about this before, if you're open to seeing it.
mhm. Yeah, like, we can all go through hard stuff, but it's like, again, it's like moving with intention of,
Mhm.
like, how you wanna respond to it, and I was actually talking to somebody about this yesterday. It's like, so much of, like, the fabric of who we are is how we respond to when things, really turn upside down. It's like,
Yeah.
it's easy to be a happy, loving, caring person when everything in your life is going really, really well. And it's like, if I really wanna know what someone's about, it's like, "Okay, you lost a parent. I'm gonna keep my eyes on you, and I'm gonna, like, love you and support you, but, like, how are you gonna respond to that? Like,
Yeah.
are you,
Spiral.
like are you drinking like a maniac? Are you, like, disassociating? Are you, like, hiding from conversation? Or are you, like, grounding with the sorrow and just being present?" And, like, obviously, that's just, like, one small example of, of a way that life can
But
turn
that's a
upside
big
down.
one because people spiral, like, and my husband and I are convinced that, like, his brother still hasn't recovered from his father passing, like, he spiraled hard
Yeah.
after, my father-in-law died, and he is not really the same ever
Yeah.
since. And that
That's a hard loss.
it is, and he is just one of those people that is unwilling to, be better, try and be better, try and everything is, "Oh, poor me, like, I can't handle it." And
Victim mentality is, like, one of the worst things we could do to ourselves. And
100%.
it's like
There's no
it's like
self-awareness when you've got that victim mentality. Absolutely none. I have a very hard time being around people that are always like, "Oh, but this, and oh, but this," and I'm like, "But what about this?"
yeah, it's like you are the master of your universe, and, like, things are happening for you, not to you. And it's like, the moment you take accountability, even if it's, like, completely out of your control, like, at least it gives you the power over it instead of giving all these other things, like, reign over your life. And it's like, obviously, again, you're it's gonna be uncomfortable, and it's gonna be hard work to process that. It's like, everyone wants a six-pack, not everyone wants to do the crunches. It's like,
Yes.
everyone wants to, like, live this sort of, like, carefree or, like, strong, mental like, have strong mental awareness, but they don't wanna, like, do the uncomfortable work to, like, get there so that, they can go to sleep at night and, like, genuinely be at peace.
Yeah.
It's tough. It makes doing crunches at the gym seem like nothing when you really have to, like, sit with yourself and, like, ask the hard questions, or, like, go through something and like really sit with it.
Well, and you had no choice.
For me, yeah, no.
Like, you had no choice, which, I mean, like, as unfortunate as is it really truly is such a blessing for you to be able to come out the other side of that, and obviously you got out
Mm.
early, like, you didn't have to serve your whole sentence.
Yeah, yeah, I got out like early as like basically any good thing that I could have had happen to me for in terms of like parole and sentencing and early release. Like I checked all the boxes. So and that was just like that was the compound effect of me making better choices.
But it's so funny how things align for you when you do that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's nice to see the payoff because obviously this I'm in my own apartment, in my own space. I have a good job. I have incredible relationships and like yeah, like these are all new integrations, right? These are like I'm starting a brand new chapter of my life and it's because for almost 5 years, like I was more or less like living in survival, like 2 years on
I
bail,
get
two and a
that,
half
yeah.
years in prison. And it
Yeah.
was just like, and before we hit record, we were talking about like nervous system regulation
Yes.
even though, like, I'm in this space that I love so much, I'm in my car, I'm listening to my music, I'm
Yeah.
driving to a job
That's
where I
my
work with one of my
favorite
best
thing
friends.
is just, like, I had the I don't know, I listen to fucking gangster rap sometimes, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I was listening to Sons of Man of a CD. It's a CD, so embarrassing. But I was just cruising yesterday, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, and, like, I love having those little moments, and
Yeah.
so circling back, I've kinda, like, created this, really good life from it, like, this is the life that I was sitting there thinking about all the time, right?
Yeah.
And something that I've noticed is, like, m because our nervous systems get so good, like, neuroplasticity, we're
Yep.
running down the same circuits all the
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Even though my life was like is in such a good space, it took time for the change to really metabolize
Yeah.
because these good things were happening and in the back of my head, it's like, oh, some like the other shoe is about to drop. Like something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because I've been so programmed to like these traumatic things happening in my life and like I like watching guys get stabbed in prison is not pretty. Like sitting in front of a judge, not knowing if you're getting 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, like
Yep.
that is bloody stressful. And like the people in my life that I love and care about, seeing how it affected them, like
Yeah.
it was a lot of weight to carry. So now that I'm in this space where like I don't need to carry that weight, I'm still regulating my nervous system to a place where it's like, hey, dude, like
You're okay.
you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
And
Like, you literally have to remind yourself that you're okay.
yeah, and it's fascinating because like I said, I literally have everything that I wrote up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, I do. I
I've got
totally get it. I
I've got
do.
the dream relationships, I got the car, I got the job, I got the house, like,
Yep.
things are building so beautifully, and it's like
Yeah.
I was almost, like, not letting myself enjoy that because, like, I was like, I needed to, like, protect myself from
Yep.
what could happen, but I'm like,
Yes.
"Dude, this is 5 years of you compounding, making good decisions, like, enjoy what you have. Like,
For
you're good,
sure.
man, like, you're not living in that world anymore," but, like,
Yeah.
sometimes that world wants to, like, remind itself, it was like, "Hey, like, you could get surrounded by 14 undercover cops with guns pointed at your head because it happened once. It could happen again. It's like, no, it can't
It
happen
can't
again.
because I'm not making the choices that are gonna make
No.
that happen.
I have as good as like I could take a stone and throw a moon. That's like the amount like the best chance I have of like going back to that life. Like it's not possible. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hit
Yeah.
it.
But I love that you said it because I feel the exact same way about everything that I gave up. And of course it's not the same, but it's the same mentality in that like that whole year that I was kind of dysregulated and trying to re-regulate my nervous system from being like, the hustler, chaotic in business, always trying
Mm,
to like make more money, do more things, be everything for everyone. That's always
mhm.
everything for everyone. Like even when I was pregnant, like I worked up to 38 weeks with my first one and she came at 39 weeks and I had to go back to work 5 weeks later and like
Oof.
just such like crazy shit, right? Like when I had my son, we were locked down and then I couldn't go back to work because I was just like, it's not fucking happening. And but after I had him back to work 5 weeks later, and then even with my last one that I had, I was at the salon like 3 days before I was giving birth. Like just like but constantly like my business is the most important thing. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Like every Sunday I have to go get supplies. This one's crying about that. I just so much stuff. But your
Right.
body, your nervous system, no matter what kind of situation, in your situation, my situation, your nervous system craves that chaos.
Hmm.
And then
That's
when you
why
don't
people
have
stay
it
in like
anymore,
toxic
you're like,
relationships, right?
"Yes, yes,
It's
I know
it's
this.
like
I
the
did
like
that."
yeah, and it's like and it's funny because it's so, like when you're in that, you have a hard time integrating into a healthy relationship because you're like where you're not stirring the pot, like everything's like cool, calm, and collected, and it's like they almost self sabotage
You can.
because they want to go back to that because that's what's familiar, even though
Yes.
it's like chaos,
I was
which
even
is
thinking,
like
like, how could I should I open another salon here? Like, should I what should I like, I like, my
let's
mind.
double down.
Yeah, double down and just, like, go back to what was familiar, but at the same time, like I had said to you earlier, and lots of people on the podcast have heard this, is that I could feel both emotions at the same time, like, knowing everything that I was saying was ridiculous, and I was gonna come out the other side of this, and reminding myself that I did have everything that I fricking asked for.
Hmm.
I was home with my kids, we were going to the park, we're homeschooling, we're outside during the week, we're, you know,
Hmm.
not
Like your
during the week, all the
definition
time.
of abundance starts to change.
It does, and everything that I wanted was here. We had the chickens, I got the chicken coop, I got a vegetable garden, I have more property, I have, like, everything, if you're open to seeing it and you're not so closed off and poor me, is sometimes we have to look around and realize that we have, number 1, something that people would kill for,
Hmm.
or exactly what we fucking asked for.
Yeah, and it's good to like check in because again, there's like a past version of yourself that's looking at you where you are, being like, "That is awesome! Like
Yeah,
you did it, you nailed it." And like,
yeah.
but we still sit here in our present moments sometimes, just being like, you know what I mean? We're like attached to the negativity bias, right? And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something I've been learning about a little bit recently is like, or like leaning into is just more like our brain functioning and like why we seek out these negatives. And that obviously we come from, an ancient history of like tribal. I need to be alert. I need to,
Need to protect
I
myself from the dinosaurs.
yeah, like I got to make sure there's no cougars following me. I
Yes.
I need
Yeah,
to make sure
saber-tooth
that
tiger, saber-tooth
y-
tiger.
yeah, and like
Yes.
it was like the pleasures back then were like shelter and sex, right? If
Yeah.
all you focused on was shelter and sex, then like next thing you know, you're starving, and the neighboring tribe has a spear to your throat. And obviously, modern day society, I can sit here and Uber Eats as much as I want, and live a pretty cushy life. But like, there's still like that ancient brain negativity bias where we're kind of like looking for threats all the time and like creating threats where there are none. So it's interesting just looking at it like face value of like how our amygdala work, our hypothalamus, hypothalamus, and like the cortisol kind of like circle of like why we're like we wake up and it's like, oh my gosh, like so stressed and like kind of seeking these things out. And then again, I think it just comes with like a lot of intention of like relearning that like no,
Yes.
we're safe. We're good. We
Yes,
can
and you
let
have
that
to
go. Like
remind
like I
yourself
I I can
that.
appreciate it that it's there because you're trying to keep me alive, but like you don't need to drive the car. You can you
Yeah.
can you can stay in the back seat.
And I had to remind myself, like, I was like, "I'm in an unbecoming.
Mm,
I'm in an unbecoming so I can become once again." I don't know what that looks like. And like I said, I was okay with it, still allowing myself to feel all those things like, "Oh, there's something wrong with me, and I'm lost, and I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna be okay, and whatever it is will make its way to me, and it's gonna be fine."
always gonna
And
be okay.
everything's gonna be okay. But it's like, I realized that I was in an unbecoming, if you will, and you probably
Mhm.
realized the same thing when you're sitting there in that cell, like, you were completely unraveling who you thought that you were.
Yeah, it was a very confronting experience. See, again, like you're not hopping on your cell phone. You don't even have people to talk to about it. Uh,
Yeah, you
can't even
talk
go
to the
for a
guy that stabbed the other guy, see what he has to say.
yeah. You don't want a lot of their opinions.
Nope.
That being said, I did throughout the prison experience. I actually did surprisingly meet like some good characters.
Yeah, because I do believe that there are people there that, do want to do and be better.
For sure, and you see it, like, I will say it is pretty far and few between, like, a
Of
lot of people,
yes.
they're living in their crime cycle,
Yeah.
and they're happy to be in it,
Yeah.
and there's people that, that I got to share a path with of, like, "Okay, like, let's lock in. We're going to the gym, we're reading the books, we're not talking about moving product when we get out. Like we're talking about like, okay, like how do we want to live with intention and like live a pure life where like I'm gonna have kids and they're gonna be like, I'm so proud of my dad.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
yeah.
love that. Just I'm a parent, so I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel blessed that like, I found I would almost like call them brothers where like,
Yeah.
we were able to like make something at the time. And something one of my friends told me before I went in, he was like, "Don't serve time, let time serve you." And I got a piece of paper, I wrote that down, and I literally used toothpaste as glue, and I stuck it, above the light in my cell. And like every day, it was like, "Don't serve time, let time serve you." And it was just like, okay, I got to make this count. Like I can't walk out of this place being the same person that walked in. And so, yeah, really, really took out the chisel. And yeah, again, just thankful that I was able to meet some people that were in alignment with that. Obviously, I no idea what they're up to in life anymore, but like I'd like to believe that they're staying true to their path, and
I mean, you
hopefully
hope, right? I mean, most people, unfortunately, in life, most people don't have the ability to change.
they
It's
have
just
the ability to change. They just
they
take the
have
easy
the
route and
they
don't.
have the ability to change. You're right. You're exactly right. But they don't.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
they don't utilize their choice to change because nervous
Again,
system, it all
staying in the
comes down to
familiar,
nervous
right?
system. It's all nervous system and your ego. Your ego wants to keep you comfortable. And like our egos are here, like you had talked about. If we look at prehistoric times, cavemen, like our ego is there for protection. It's there to pull you back into the safe or to, protect you from freaking a T-Rex. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
people don't, realize that that's why we have our egos. It's here for protection. So it's just like you try to change, your ego kind of comes in and goes, "Oh, but it's like so much more comfortable back over here. You should probably just like stay over
yeah.
here. And it's way better over here." And
You
then
almost need to sit down with that version of yourself and be like, "Hey, man, like, let's be in sync here."
yeah, well, and that's the things like the power of thought and the power of writing things down.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like, if I release my book tomorrow and everyone just called it a piece of garbage, I'd be like, "That's okay," because it wasn't like what it did for me being able to write and I, like it's a little bit about me, but I genuinely wanted to make it like tools of like this is your way, like your handbook to get out of the trenches,
Yeah.
and just like some reality checks. And I was like, what's something that I would have wanted to have read like 5 years ago before I had made some wacky decisions. And yeah, just try to be real and raw and gritty. Like
But I
yeah,
think that that's the best, like, your most authentic version of yourself does a couple of things. Number 1, it brings in the most authentic relationships, which you're already seeing, authentic connections, authentic opportunities, and I think most people don't realize when they're just, like, fully who they are in whatever that looks like for them, is that's when the opportunities and people that are meant to be in your life start to find you.
yeah. It almost reminds me of that old tale of like there's like the two farmers and they're both praying for rain, but only one of them goes out and prepares his field. And it's like, who do you think God sent the rain to? It's like you gotta prepare your field, you know?
You do. You've gotta do the work, and I think that's, like, a lot of people I think if we look at, say, manifestation, for instance, something I believe in that, and it's not just sitting there and believing that it's gonna happen.
Mm,
Doing the things in the vibration or emotion of already having the thing while continue to move, and then it brings it to you much faster,
mhm,
and people sit around hoping and wanting, but never doing.
mhm. Yeah, I really like the work that James Clear does. He
Mhm.
wrote Atomic Habits,
Yep,
and
yep.
he's basically it's like obviously it's amazing to have goals and to create structure and framework to get to those goals, but part of his approach is like through the like obviously the mindset and like let's use like an example. Like let's say I wanted to become like a professional golfer, and it's like not like I'm gonna like come onto a podcast and be like delusional, like I'm a pro
I'm
golfer.
Tiger Woods.
But you identify with the thing that you want to become with. So like let's say I wanted to be like sober, right? And somebody offers me a drink and I say no, you'd be like, okay, that's good, gold star. I'm trying to be sober. I said no to the drink. Be like,
Yep,
good job.
yep.
Here's your sticker.
High five.
But like taking it a step further, it's like, no, like I'm sober now. I
You have
don't
to
drink
affirm it.
anymore.
You have to
Like, yeah,
affirm it.
you're literally, like, identifying as a sober person, and, like, I think, like, that self-talk, I think, goes a long way, and it goes for even little things too, is, like, even me being in a certain space, I was like, "Okay, I wanna identify as a writer, I wanna identify as, like, somebody that, like, genuinely cares and, like, helps about people," and so, like, I literally started, like, men's groups within the
Yes.
prison
Yeah,
where we could, like, build each other up and not just talk about, like the thing about prison is that people are just talking about bullshit all the
I
time.
know. Well, because
Like,
they're like, "Who's got the
drugs,
biggest dick?"
money,
You
"Oh,
know,
he's a
like, it's
gangster."
yeah, yeah,
Like,
like,
"Oh,
it's
this
a
person shot this person on the
yeah.
streets." Like, like, all these, like, dumb politics, and I'm like,
It's a dick swinging club
"Oh,
for a lot of
yeah.
them, and I don't mean to say like, sound like foul mouthed, but it is. They're like, "Who's got the biggest cock here? Let's talk about." "Oh, I've
Yeah,
got a
yeah." Like,
fucking,
everyone's pulling out the
AK-47,
measuring tape,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and, yeah, so tried to create, like, some, meaningful conversation, like, outside that, which was, like, well received. Maybe not by everybody, but, like, got to kind of peel back some layers, and again, like, we all wanted to, like, walk out of there better than we walked in, and, yeah, it was good.
So, for me, like, I'm always on, like, a self-improvement movement. I
Nice,
have been
big
for a
movement.
long time. Like, in my 20s, I actually ended up working for a network marketing company. And they're all about positivity, self-improvement, and I got to experience so many cool, motivational people and was introduced to self-improvement books and Think and Grow Rich and all the, like, the really good ones, and it changed my life because that time in my life gave me the strength to leave that relationship that I was in.
Mm,
And I think it's interesting when you believe in self-improvement and stuff like that, which you may have experienced this, maybe you haven't, is that, like, people think you're crazy
why do they think you're crazy? Like, when you're
because,
stepping into this change?
well, you're stepping into a change, you're, focused on self-improvement, reading self-improvement books, going to
Mhm.
seminars. So I went to Tony Robbins by myself
Yeah, fun.
when he came to Toronto, and that was in, when did he come to Toronto? 2019.
Mm,
2019, he came to Toronto, and so I went to Tony Robbins by myself, and, like, people were making fun of me. "I can't believe you would go there by yourself," like, "Oh my god, go to Tony Robbins?" Like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I got there at 4 AM because I didn't wanna pay for the expensive seats, so I got there at 4 AM so I could be front in line, like, right behind the expensive seats." And you know where Tony Robbins spent most of his time?
where?
Right there.
Cool.
Like, literally, he was right next to me. He's so tall.
Just a mountain of a human being.
He is larger than life, let me tell
Yeah.
you. And I was like, aisle row, and he's, like, right freaking there. But when, like, people are hesitant to look into self-improvement because they feel like it's culty and it's this and it's that, and
Mhm.
it's like, well, if you think that bettering yourself is a problem, I think you have a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, you generally want people in your life that are, like, supporting things that are good for you, right? So, like, I think that's kind of like one of those, like, indications where it's like, okay, I'm working really hard on myself. I'm reading the books. I'm showing up in a different way than I used to, and yeah, I'm driving 4 a.m. to go hang out with Tony Robbins, and it's like people are gonna shit on you for that. It's
They
like,
do.
okay, like I might need to, like, do some landscaping in my friend
100%.
group. Yeah.
100%. And I found the more successful I got in my business, the more people dropped off because there's,
Jealousy, maybe.
yeah, maybe jealousy. I was, like, hyper focused on, building my business and, being successful and doing all the things. And yeah, people that I thought would be in my life forever just disappeared. But I find that when you're on a path to betterment, that happens. People think it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's like necessary though, because like obviously those people weren't meant to be in
100%.
in the picture.
Yeah.
Especially like me going away and kind of being plucked from society for as long as I was, like, it was a very interesting indicator of, like, who showed up and, like, who just, like, didn't hear a peep from, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And,
I do.
I feel incredibly blessed that, like, I had a lot of people show up for me, like,
Amazing.
during those 2 years. I'm eternally grateful for my community and, like, some people that, like, I didn't think would, make the effort, 3-hour round trips up north to come see me in a Yankee little prison,
What
and
prison
I'm
were
like,
you in?
so I was 2 months in Maplehurst, which is, like, the provincial,
Yeah.
and then I went to Kingston
Okay.
for federal assessment, so that was 4 months, and then after you go to what's called your mother institution, and I got minimum security, Beaver Creek, which is
Okay.
Gravenhurst.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that's where I did like the bulk of my time was like at a
Yeah.
minimum security.
Yeah.
They call it camp.
But
It's just
that's
go
so great that you had so much people showing up for you. Like when I moved out here and after I closed my business, I thought I had a bunch of really great people in my life.
see you later.
See you later. Don't have your business anymore. You don't, you know.
Yeah.
It's good though. Like I look at that as a blessing.
Yeah. And again, because like you got to trim the fat sometimes, right?
You do. You absolutely do. Now you had talked about before we came on getting to work with youth now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been really special. Again, one of those things where I was like, when I'm sitting down, in those, cell moments, that was like part of the manifestations of like, okay, like I want to get out, I want to work with youth, I want to help people, I want to use my story and make impact. And yeah, so I met this girl. She is the owner of the Forgiveness Project, and she was doing workshops in the prison. Her name was Tara, like absolute warrior.
Yeah.
And when I was at the prison, I was like, I really want to come like work with you when I get out. And when I got out, I followed up. I stayed true to my word. And she was like, "Oh, everybody says they will, but they never show up."
That's
And
because
then
people don't do what you did. That's
I know.
why.
And then so every Tuesday, I would go to her office, and there was like, yeah, aged 18 to 23, they had all had to run in with the justice system. A lot of it gun violence, and we would just do workshops, everything from like breath work to finances to just like popcorn conversation.
Love
And it's
that.
funny because like I'm like a young white guy who's like that. I have a certain look. Like I look closer to the cop than the criminal, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when a guy like me walks in, it's kind of like
Who the fuck is this guy?
like I'm getting mean mugged by everyone.
Yeah.
I'm like always the only white guy in the room.
Yeah.
It's which is like obviously something I'm so used to. But
Yeah.
it's just funny because it starts off with like, yeah, like, the face. And then like by the end of it, it's like I've got everyone like in lotus pose, meditating with their heart, like their hands on their hearts. And it's like
I love
it's
how crunchy you are. It's my fucking favorite thing that I'm learning about you. You're a
say
crunchy
again,
dude. You're crunchy.
crunchy. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like to peel back those layers.
I fucking love
Like I
it.
want I want to get in there and like wrestle around a
I
little bit.
love this. This is
Yeah, so
so
like
cool.
yeah, so yeah, and I got to like lead them in like 20-minute meditations, and then sometimes I'd mix things up. Like I come from a Muay Thai background, so I'll bring the pads and like, we throw some hands and like
Oh
we
my
have some fun,
god.
and like basically like at the end of the day, like we do these things because they're tools and they're good for us and they ground us. But really just being like, look, man, like I've walked through those doors and like there's nothing glamorous about it. And obviously the reason that they were in those rooms and the reason that I was there speaking with them is because they were on their way. Because I have a new job now, I'm not able to check in with them as much as I'd like. But yeah, it definitely opened the door. Like I got a paid keynote speaking gig from it. It's like my first like paid speaking gig, and I was like, oh,
You're like, I'm a speaker.
I'm a speaker.
Because I'm a writer. Because I'm a writer.
Yeah, yeah. Identifying with what you want to
Yeah.
be, right? And
Except if you
just
want to
make
be
it.
a cat, then we're gonna draw the line
Yeah,
at a couple things.
if you want to shit in a litter box and meow at me, we're probably gonna have a
We're
problem.
not identifying with that.
I've seen some of your content and it kills me, man. It's so funny. I don't want to derail our
No,
podcast, but like
that's what this
that,
podcast is about. We just talk
yeah,
about whatever the fuck we want,
yeah,
however we want. I always just say where the conversation goes, it goes. I don't give a shit. You can talk about anything on here. But
yeah. No, it's
yes,
a
my
fun open
stance on that
space.
identifying shit is nope.
Yeah,
It's okay to
yeah,
identify as an author, though. I agree with that. I accept that
yeah,
about
yeah.
you
For sure.
because
I'm
you're actually
identifying as
doing
someone
that.
that reaches my goals. Is there a flag for that?
We could make one.
Make one.
We could we could totally make one. Yeah.
Do you think if I identified as a free person, I could maybe wouldn't have had to go to jail? Be like, oh, sorry, I identify as free.
Sometimes
I'm
I'm
not
like,
going.
I identify as Indigenous, so I don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I identify as rich.
Yeah, then
I,
let it happen.
you know, that's a whole fucking other conversation.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, and that is, because you number one, you did the work to get the things with the mindset
Mhm.
that it was gonna happen.
Yeah, and again, it was just nice to see, like, the ripple effects of good choices, like, compounding and come to fruition because, like, 2 years on bail, 2 years in prison, like, I felt so out of control
Yes.
of, like, my life because I couldn't build. I couldn't nurture my relationships, like, I watched my relationships suffer because of it, and, like, that was just, like, a really hard thing to sit with, and so, now that I'm out and I'm like, "Okay, these are the things that are mine to hold now and, like, for me to nurture and, like, take care of," and, like, part of that's community, part of it's relationships, and obviously a big part of it is just, like, making sure that, like, I'm taking care of myself in the process because you can't help anyone if you can't help yourself
No,
first, and
100%, but I think something that amazing that you're doing is I truly believe that when your goal in life is to help other people be better, to enrich other people's lives, like, abundance comes to you, it flows to you.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
It
Very
does.
well said. And like we've seen indicators of that in our lives, right? So we like it's
100%.
not it's not some woo woo conspiracy, right? Like we can really like step into those places and make very beautiful things happen for us.
You
And then
can.
again, it's not going to happen overnight, but those small compounding choices of like where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years? Like, am I really doing things today that are in alignment that's going to get me there? And yeah, just trusting that process and allow yourself to flow through there and just understanding that like it is a process and it's not always going to be glamorous, but just stay locked in.
Well, yeah, and you have to. It's like you always have I always go back to sort of like the diet thing because it's like you can wake up, have a great breakfast, have a great lunch, and then eat a bunch of candy in the afternoon. That doesn't mean your day is ruined.
Hmm.
It means that you could have a salad and some chicken for dinner, and you
Yeah.
can finish your day strong, you
Yeah,
know?
you don't need to live in a box. You can still enjoy things, it's just again know what like when to find the balance and like know when you're cheating yourself.
Yes, exactly it. That's exactly, and that's just like in everything in your life. It's just like you have the opportunity to make a better choice the next choice that you
Mhm.
have to make.
Yeah.
But again, most people don't do that because nervous system, it just sucks you back in. It sucks you back in and it doesn't let you.
Yeah, we're creatures of habit. I've done it. You've done it. We've all been to those places. But yeah, just try to move intentionally and become a little bit better every day. Every morning we wake up, we get that choice, right?
We have always have a choice. We always have a choice. And I think I know for me, like I'm older, older and wiser. I
Let's
always say
go.
that because, I have to, because I'm old. Um, as you age and you look back at things that's happened in your life, and I know it's hard for people that maybe are a little bit more pessimistic in life about things, is to like look back and realize that things do work out. They eventually work
Right.
out.
Maybe not the way that you drew up, but they're working
You
big
go,
time.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's always been my biggest thing is like looking back and understanding that I went through the things that I went through to get exactly where I am right now here in this moment, even just talking to you. Do you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
every moment in our life is an opportunity to find silver lining, to find something positive about it. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm a serial optimist, so,
Yeah, no,
but I
it's a good way
trained
to
my
be.
brain to be that way. And if I didn't meet those people back when I was like 21 or 22, I can't remember. That's probably when I met them. I never would have been introduced to personal development. And who knows what kind of trajectory my life would have taken.
Yeah. One of my favorite books is like The Midnight Library, and it's literally like that web of like all the different possibilities that your life could have taken, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it just kind of boils down to those little choices.
And I
And
think
personal development is a good path to explore.
it is. And for people that's like, people are just like, oh, that's so weird. And well, it's like, well, it's weird to not want to be a little bit better.
Some people like I don't know, maybe like ignorance is bliss. Maybe it's just like fun to just
I feel
like
like it is.
just be in that that mindset where you're just like, oh, I'm good passing through life, and it's like obviously there's like the deeper thinkers and feelers of life, and it's like I would never like look down on anybody
No, I'm
for
the same.
the way they live their life, but
Yep.
it's like I know me and how I operate. Like I need to pull back those curtains.
Yeah, and it's choices. It's just like your next choice. What's it gonna be?
Yeah.
What's it gonna be? You're gonna choose to let this swallow you like it did to my husband's brother.
Mm,
It's very sad to see. Or are you
yeah.
going to let it pull you out of the void?
Yeah. Those boys are scary.
The
But
the voids are scary, even, like, doesn't matter what kind of void you're in, I mean, it does, but, like, what your next move from that point is gonna determine what happens next. So
mhm,
you have to decide what that looks like for you and what you want it to look like, and it's exactly like you said, is the choice that I'm making right now in this moment a choice that the person that I want to be would make?
mhm, exactly, and it's like I think I don't even know if we hit record when I said this one, but I think, like, so much of, like, the fabric of who we are is how we respond to those challenges, right?
Yes.
So it's like, if you really wanna find out, like, go through the trenches, and I wanna see how you treat people.
Yeah.
I wanna see how you bounce back.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's such like a telltale sign, and again, my favorite quote, "Turbulent times provide fertile
Yes.
ground for
Yeah.
radical change." So, like, when you're in that turbulent time, like, all right, like, let's start planting on some seeds, because that's the
Yeah.
best time to do it.
I love that. I loved this. We'll wrap up now because I think this is a good place to wrap up. I loved getting to know you. You're
Thank you
so
so much
crunchy. I
for reaching
love
out and
you.
having
Like,
this.
we have so much more in common than you realize, even though I'm,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all old and stuff,
we might have
but
to run it back another time.
absolutely, I would absolutely love that. So, if you could leave our listeners with one thing, what would it be?
Do something really kind for somebody else.
Hmm.
Just, like, when you go to a coffee shop, like, buy 2 and just, like, the next person you see, just hold the tray and be like, "Would you like one of these?"
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I buy
Just
coffee for
ju
people at Starbucks behind me in the
yeah.
drive-through.
I it 'Cause it'll make your day and
It
it'll
does.
make somebody else's day.
Yeah.
Those little random acts of kindness are, like, my new favorite thing right now
Isn't it? It is so
because
special.
life is scary and
I know.
people are going through it all over the place,
Yeah.
and I think just do something.
Yeah.
Smile and ask them like an old lady crossing the street how her day was. I think
Or tell them they look
just
pretty, they love that.
yeah, yeah,
They
love
do.
their outfit.
I love yeah,
But,
it's
yeah,
questionable, but we
anyways,
love it.
yeah. Also, Paradise State of Mind, is my Instagram handle, and that's where
Yes, that was my next thing, and
all my
everything's gonna
book
be
content
linked.
will be.
So
Yep.
anything that you want me to link will be linked on YouTube, on Spotify, and the show notes so that people can reach out to you to, you know, talk to
Amazing.
you and learn more about you and all of that good stuff,
Thank you.
and
So the book should be out in a couple months.
so exciting.
Amazon. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'll definitely keep you in the loop. I'll send you out a
Please do.
copy.
I want you to. Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, I saw you on social media and I was like, "Look at this guy cleaning his life up and, like, just doing the damn thing," and I fucking love that about people, you know?
Yeah, no, you're doing the same. We're showing up. You're saying yes to life, right?
I
That's what
mean,
it's
that's what
about.
you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. Just rebuild. Like, now I'm becoming. I don't know what it is, but I unbecame and now I am becoming again.
Yeah, yeah. It's the processes, right? Well,
It's
Cece,
insane.
thank you so much. This was really
Well,
beautiful. Thank you for holding space for this conversation.
thank
And
you for being so open and sharing your story with us. Now don't hang up before we press stop because it has to upload. Um Like I say at the end of every episode, come find us on social media. If you made it this far into the episode, thank you so much for being here and for listening. Come let us know what you think. Reach out to James. He wants to hear from you. That is it for
yeah.
today. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.